So in my career, I realized there were two things that I was doing that actually got you noticed by your senior managers, but also got you promoted. The first one was actually to make yourself useful. Now, this may seem like quite straightforward, like let's just make myself useful, but actually it's quite difficult, because what you have to do is make sure that what you are involved in to make yourself useful is relevant to what you're doing. So what you can't do is just go around getting involved in all these projects. What you want to do is get involved in things that actually are related to your job. So for example, I obviously early in my career was an analyst, a data analyst or data scientist. And so what happened was I would be asked to do, let's say, an analysis on churn. And what I would actually do is, rather than just run the analysis, I would work with the marketing team to find out what they were doing, how they were currently dealing with churn, what their marketing campaigns look like. And I contributed from a data point of view in terms of what they're currently doing, as well as building the churn model. And then obviously when I built the churn model, I had the relevant context of what they were doing now, so I could relate it back to what I had built. And so essentially what I was doing was I was being useful. I was being useful to the marketing team because they needed a churn model, but they didn't just need someone to give them a model and say, here's a scoring for the model and off you go, apply it to your customer base. But I was actually understanding what they were doing with their current churn activity, connecting the work that I did to the work that they currently do, to make sure that it wasn't too far, the gap between what they should be doing and what they were doing wasn't too far. So that's the first thing, is make yourself useful. And what I mean by useful, I don't mean just like go around pottering, doing different things. Do things that are relevant to your role and make sure that you connect it back to what you're meant to be doing, and therefore what you then produce is useful to the business because you know the context around how it's going to be applied. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I found really useful in terms of sort of getting promoted or getting noticed by senior management is actually doing the tasks of the role ahead of me or the role in front of me. So, if I was a senior data scientist and I wanted to become a lead, I would look at what the lead was doing and I would take on some of those tasks. And I don't mean just like go in and take over them. I'd volunteer to do some of the tasks that the lead were doing. Now, one of those tasks usually that the lead does is run the project. They coordinate and they run the project. And so therefore I would volunteer and say, look, I'm happy to, take notes of the meeting. I'm happy to coordinate, and eventually slowly I would take over the task and people would start seeing me in a lead role even though I was a senior analyst. And then there'll be other things. So for example, I would provide I would contribute in meetings, I would provide sort of recommendations. When we did the analysis, I would volunteer to present. So as long as you do all those activities that the role ahead of you or the role in front of you is doing, then people start seeing you in that role. And so what then happens is that when you apply for that role, people assume, or your senior management will assume, well, he'll be good for it because we've seen him already do that role. So those are really the two things that I would recommend people do if they want to get noticed, A, by senior management, but also B, if they're looking to get promoted. Well, thanks for watching the video. Please do make sure to like and share the video, and if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe to the channel. Everybody who subscribes really helps the channel and also helps me understand if the content I'm making is useful.